Hello and welcome. We're going to be going to 1 Samuel tonight, chapter 17, verse 40. We're going to be talking about David going up against Goliath. You know, I've heard this testimony of David from a little boy in Sunday school all the way up through the years. But you know, when David went up to this brook, he stopped at the brook and picked up 5 stones. Well, we know that 1 stone was for Goliath and 4 was for the 4 brothers that Goliath had. But I want to talk about these stones tonight. As a kid going down to the river, a bunch of us boys go down and everything. Of course, we wanted to be the one who could skip the rock the farthest on the river. So we would, as we looked over the sandbar, we wanted to find just the right flat rock, smooth, and that would just balanced right, that would just skip across the water so smoothly and outdo my buddies. You know, and we'd look for that certain rock. Well, now David was a hunter. He was a shepherd. He told Saul, said, I killed the lion and I killed the bear. And he carried his sling. Now, he knew that he needed a rock that was right for his sling. So when we look at these rocks had traveled a long ways. They had went through many things to come to be where they were this day. And if you know, especially if you live in eastern Kentucky where we live, up these hollows and stuff, that we get storms, and when the storms come, the creeks get up, and you know, you can stand out and you can hear the rocks rolling in the creek and banging against each other and hitting and as they come down the creek. And that's what knocks all the rough edges off, because these rocks start from another rock that is just broken off, rough edges, may slide down a bank, wherever it may come from. But it's the rains and the storms that come that move this rock as it rolls, and it comes upon things that it seems to be unmovable, and it hits it. And even if these things are unmovable and they hit and they chip the edges off, this rock will work around it and go on. It's the same thing in our lives. You know, when we give our life to Christ, we got a lot of rough edges. We have rough edges all our life. But, you know, it's the storms of life. You know, a lot of times God can't get us to move until He brings a storm, something in our life, a challenge, or something that we don't think we can overcome, but we can through Him. And it's just like these rocks. You know, during the summertime when the creek is not big and the creek almost dries up, the rocks just lay there and don't move. They're not being smooth. The edge is not being knocked off. But when the storm comes, there they go again, banging, chipping off, smoothing the edges, grinding against the silt, grinding against other rocks. You know, and as we meet brothers and sisters in Christ, you know, we learn things from them that takes the edges off of us. Knocks the rough edges off of us. You know, it may be somebody that we come up against that just are just so hard-headed, but sometimes we just got to go around and go on. But as these rocks kept going and being shaped and smooth and everything, they finally ended up in a spot where David walked up. And when David looked down and he looked through all these rocks, and it makes me think about when the Bible talks about the remnant, you know, and David looked, and I'm sure that he wanted a rock that when he picked it up, that he would know that it would fly true when it went out of that sling. And that's the way it is with God. He brings us, He shapes us through these storms of life, knocking off the edges and everything, and until He comes to the point. It's all about coming to the foot of the shepherd. And that's where these rocks were. And the shepherd picked them up, and he put them in his pouch, which was on his side. And he went to battle the Philistine because he knew these rocks would fly true. I hope you enjoyed this little lesson. And just remember, when these storms come, you're just being shaped so that the master, so the shepherd can use you into defeating the enemy. God bless you.